Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good morning, good day, good night. Salute. Good morning, good day. Salute to everybody, man. It's always a pleasure you joining me on this lovely evening. I say lovely evening. Good Lord. You have to look around you, man. Some of y'all need to really look around you, man. Say good morning. Is it morning? Morning good? Do people feel good in the morning? No. Why don't we say good morning? Why do we say good morning? Do we actually mean that? I don't think so. Shout out to Trinity Times. Shout out to Trinity Time Travels. Goddamn. I'm so sorry, Trinity Time. I be screwing it all up. And yes, you are the first. Absolutely. I like that. How do y'all do that? I just literally just thought of this topic right in this chair. So let me do something before. And I always stick with like what usually went on through my day. It's important, man. It's that's what I should have said. No room for disappointment. You know. Salute to LaCrystal, goddamn. Salute to LaCrystal been putting in work. She been putting in work, ladies and gentlemen. Look, speaking of that, we was gonna do something. I'm not gonna say the woman's name because she may pop up, but we was gonna do something like, oh, we should do this stream. And I just was like, eh. You know what I'm saying? I think it's so 2020-ish, to have somebody pop up on a live stream. And unless somebody wants to give me a testimony, that's always acceptable. Well, you can send me that and post it. Like, I don't need my ego stroked. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of individual that you have to send me. I mean, we have to do a live stream and talk about me. You know what I mean? You could ask me, but I don't like talking about myself like that. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just whack for somebody to talk about themselves. As us men especially, because we want some poom poom. We gotta listen to. We just gotta suffer with it. Well, tell me about yourself. Well, I graduated from here. We don't care. You know, we only care because we're trying to care. You get it? Write that down. We only care because we're trying to care. Amen. We only care because we're trying to care. So it's just more of a mode of just like you feel good. So some people feel good talking about themselves. I feel good listening, but you could tell me about a journey. I think that's dope. I went through an amazing event this morning, man, and I want to share it, man. It was just amazing. I expect less from people, so you know what I mean. That's how I keep my standards high. Now I will say that. So I ain't gonna really get into the whole mode of what I was, but I'm just gonna say I was in a particular function, and I met this young lady, right? And it was amazing. She was just they were talking about an autistic nephew. Now, autism is something that you have to educate me on because I grew up hearing mentally, retarded, and then later on became mentally challenged, but cerebral palsy. So I grew up around those things, and the fact that I grew up around it because the community I was living in, the big office was like right next door. So we grew up with them. They called them clients. The people that worked with them called them clients. And I thought that was interesting. And just to connect the way I was going with this is like I'm listening to this sister. Now this is again live streams and the 10 of us get up here and do whatever. I mean, if that's what you request, cool, I'm with it. But I think from the perspective of a teacher, I think it's good to have involvement when people are asking questions. That's important. So anyway, I'm at this event and I met this woman. she was doing something for the community. I love stuff like that, trying to strengthen the community by letting people know they could fill that out. Food pantries, you know, EBTs. People are afraid and ashamed to, ask for assistance. You know what I mean? Like people rather work profusely instead of living in a country where they have all these different things that are handed to them that they, entitled to. So anyway, she was basically breaking down what she does with the community, which I love. And her whole soul was of this, of giving. She had a very giving spirit. So there was a gentleman at this program that we was at that was talking about his how he raised kids, and his one of his daughters is going to become a surgeon. You know what I'm saying? Like he how she's going to become a surgeon. How in 2015 his wife left him, and through that storm he also raised an autistic son. And he was breaking down how, you know, one person succeeded successfully, and the other one, he's got conditions. So he's breaking it down. He's crying. It was just, oh man, it was so deep. Powerful brother. You know, so to say the least, basically, let me just give you a layout. So I went to this function today. Let's say daddy, fathers walk your kid to school day. And it was the most incredible experience that I've experienced. One of the most, you know what I mean? It was incredible. Now, this just wasn't for fathers, this are grandfathers, uncles, any male figure that you are in this person's life. They needed you to walk the child to school. So we get to this event, and we took the photo op and all that. Kids had to go to school, whatever. And the men had to get together. Now, this was really, really powerful because being an individual of my mindset, my whole thing was just, I want to do what I got to do, take my daughter to school and skedaddle. Like, you know what I mean? Let me just get this over with. I didn't think it was going to be this good. And it actually turned out to be a male forum for men, not males, but a male forum for men. You get it? So it was this whole experience of walking your child to the school, and this one Puerto Rican brother, man. I really like this guy, man. And he was doing a little thing, when they press play and they have the little diagrams and stuff on the screen, shit that I would do. And how he was breaking his class down. There's a couple of brothers that came in, and this one dude was seeing me. I had they had refreshments there, danishes and pastries. Always good to have that at the top of the morning. And they had what was it? I normally would never drink coffee like I used to many, many years ago. But now that I'm getting up much earlier, my life has changed on that in the past, couple weeks. I drink coffee for obvious reasons. Now, when they're giving that there, it's like, oh, this is perfect. Like this will get me through the morning, just to be here. So there was this one dude that came over to me. Now, mind you, I didn't want to even be there because I don't like dudes. You know how I am. You know what I'm saying? I look at men as dirt. You know what I'm saying? I do, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Don Peter Press. I look at men as filth. Just like, this is one brother in there that, I ain't really too keen on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just don't be keen, just for visuals. And I think what it was that sometimes I've noticed with black fathers, they try too hard to flex and be tough. Like you like you want to perform because the world looks at you the same way I do. I get it, you know what I mean? Like I don't expect a lot from a brother. You know what I'm saying? And that leaves room for improvement, right? So if I expect less and you shock me, I'm like, damn, nigga, like I didn't even think you could do that. I'm gonna keep it a stack. And appreciation is much higher now and more appreciated because I didn't expect that. You get? So anyway, there was this one time I seen the brother, he comes to the school and looking like a bum or whatever, picking his kid up. And I know that doesn't it's not important, but it is important because I feel as black brothers just don't put effort into looking presentable. They don't know how to wear a collared shirt unless they go on the court. They don't know how to wear clean shoes. When we dress up, it's a pair of Jordans. I don't really mess with Jordans like that now because they became more of a Mexican thing. No disrespect. But when I wear them, it's still going to be different because I can rock certain shit that most niggas can't rock because it's all about the individual, right? But anyway, so I had to be in the room with all these coons in the morning. Now, the majority of the dudes in there ain't too many blacks in the school, mostly Hispanic and, white, but mostly Hispanic. You know what I mean? That's why I tell you the neighborhood I live in. So one brother was telling me, yeah, man, that's a good choice. He's breaking ice. He said, black coffee is really good for you. You know what I'm saying? It's actually good. And I said, yeah, that's my thing, man. I never, back in the day, I used to put 3 sugars in. He said, nah, man, I told him I don't put nothing in it. He said, yeah, straight like that. So he introduced himself, cool brother. He happened to be one of the fathers. And I like when other brothers break the ice. I think that's a big deal because again, I don't, you know what I mean? I'm mostly like when I'm in certain environments, I'm a commutative type of person, but with black men, we have a little disappointment with us. So I don't expect a lot from brothers. So when I see our presence, we don't have a good presentation. Write that down. When I see our presence, we don't really have a good presentation. So it's a little disheartening, whatever, but that's the mindset, you know what I mean? So one dude, uh, there's one brother, he was telling me, man, ain't too many fathers, whatever, make sure you come out. But he wasn't coming to me to encourage me. He was coming to me to let me know he's encouraging other black men to be here tomorrow. And I thought that was really, really great for him. You know what I mean? I thought he was a little goofy, but today I look at him entirely different. I'll get to that. So the brother, the speaker's breaking everything down, man. And for once I could honestly say, as much as we may work at jobs and you constantly have meetings, and which is important, if you work for education, if you work in a corporate world, they tend to have a lot of meetings. Medicine, it's important to do that because I feel that you have to keep it fresh. This particular topic that I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to try to get this in quick, is keeping your standards high, and keep your standards high, but keeping your expectations low. It's such an amazing topic because this is something I need to talk about frequently. I have to talk about this a lot. The same way how corporate America pushes meetings and Zoom meetings, another meeting, another meeting, it's important because that's how you're involved, right? You're involved into a job when you work at a job, when you work at a career, when there's meetings involved. You work at a car dealership and there's meetings involved. You're involved. When I'm in school, when I got to be involved in my daughter's school, and they have meetings, and they're shooting these things on on my app, and they have this day, they have this day. I have to be at everything that I can be at because I want to know this the same way I know myself. So myself, as I'm talking to you now, this is a meeting. This is a self way that I give myself, my therapy, my teachers, my meetings by talking to you because I keep it fresh. And I really see that this forum, which believe it or not, that's exactly what it turned into because it was about the kids, but it was about us as men. And ladies and gentlemen, that I don't expect. I believe the men, I don't expect a lot from men as it is. So when I do see something from my low expectations, it hits different. I'm not going to say the name of this brother. I'm not going to name the school, whatever. I'm not going to even get into the borough where my daughters go to, but it's not important. But what is important is um, his message. And he was basically letting us know that he still was a strong father, even through the circumstances of his wife leaving him. She didn't pass away. She left him. Like he said to leave. She left me. Raising two kids, being able to speak to other brothers. And he was funny too. He actually said, you guys, you men would put the time into a woman to finagle her to have sex, but you don't put the time into, you know, your child's homework. And I thought that was deep for a lot of men because, being that there was Hispanic man there as well, he had to talk with, he's doing bilingual. But this brother was awesome, man. And once he talked about how he had an autistic child, and he's got the kid up on the screen, he got his daughter up on the screen, and I love a man that doesn't care what people think, but I don't like a male that doesn't care what people think. Now let me tell you the difference with that. A man doesn't care what people think. He's gonna walk out fearlessly, whether he has his grandmother in a wheelchair, whether his kid may have cerebral palsy or autism. He's gonna walk the street proudly, no matter what a person's condition is, because he loves them. He doesn't care. That's a man. The male that doesn't care, he may come out like who did it and ran, holes in his socks, want to be a gangster, want to be tough. Whatever it is, it may be a mode of that. That may be the presentation that you may pick up from an individual. Now, again, feel where I'm going with this. As males, when they don't care, you can see in their gear, you can see how they take care of their hair, stuff like that. I'm a visual person, so when I see a nigga looking like a bum, that's a bum, right? Boy, you could get shocked. As a great judge of character, the more I expect less, the more I expect less, the more I become a better judge of character. You get it? Sometimes people be like, "Well, I'm a great judge of character. Why?" Well, this is a layout that works for me. It's kind of like, you know, warming something up. It's because it's the mode of warming a woman up. To get her there, you got to do this. You may have to talk, chat, and drink a little something, have a little massage, kiss, and touch. You know what I mean? To get to this one simple thing, it may take, 3 hours. It may take 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all may take 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Libra. Shout out to Libra Moon. Shout out to the Red Lion. So the brother was sharing his story how he has this autistic son, and they were getting kicked out of restaurants, getting kicked out of places, and I had to say, huh? He had to rewind that. I said, people were throwing you out of places because of your autistic son, I guess because of the noises he was making, because they can't talk. And I couldn't imagine knowing that a person has a son or daughter that may be a little, older too, that may be a little intimidating to ask them to leave. Now, again, I couldn't imagine this because I feel as if you have an establishment, whether it's church or whatever, and the person has these, because I've seen this all my life. I don't know how people deal with that, or do they give them a designated area? Is there but the fact that he said he was asked to leave places, I said, yo, this is a real man right here. This is a real man. The woman left him and he's still going. I could tell he's still going because he's able to talk about that son and with a tear. And a lot of men don't realize, man, crying is essential. You have to get that off. Let me tell you something. For a man, it's more important than a woman. Because as a man, you are told, I don't know who told you this, you are told to hold it in. And that gives you all types of disease. I believe it gives you deadly diseases. I believe it gives you high blood pressure, diabetes. Instead of crying, you turn to food. Instead of crying, you turn to alcohol. And you could have just cried. When I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this thing hit me so hard today, it made me cry. I had a good cry today. A few hours later, I was working, and I had a nice cry, and it felt good. I felt like I took a nap. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I was extremely tired. I only slept for 3 hours. I had to be at this event. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm going to be there. I want to be there. I got to be there. I will be there, right? But when the brother shared that, man, I looked around. I said, you know what, Nathaniel? You may expect less from these men, but they're still here, regardless of how they look, regardless of whatever the situation is. It made me appreciate them even more. We took a group picture that I may share. I could probably share that. Probably going to put that in the post, right? But at the end of it, I spoke to the man and I said, man, you really, I didn't even want to get on autism. It just, he hit me so hard because his mode of a man, they still make men like this. Very few, but this man was a man. Because most males would have walked away from that. Oh, the wife left me, fuck the kids. I had a nigga that told me. I had one of my mans, I'll tell him, punk ass dude named Jason. This nigga gonna tell me, yeah, my wife was leaving me. I said, what about your sons? He said, fuck them. I would never forget that as long as I live. He said, fuck him. He went to Florida and then boated. I would never forget that as long as I live. You know what I'm saying? So, hold on one second. Karis Rain said, question, Nate. When Whoopi Goldberg said she didn't marry well for herself and she got to keep work, what does that mean? Is she going broke? She did married well for herself. She got to keep work. No, Whoopi got long money. The View alone, they make at least $1 million plus on that shit a year. She ain't broke. Unless she's on drugs and she's niggerfied, but that's not even her style. I didn't even hear about that. Interesting. What it does mean is, what I'm saying? I think it means what it says, I don't think there's anything to that. She said she didn't marry well. I mean, you said she didn't marry for herself. She got to keep work. What does that mean? You got to give me that question again. But we'll get back to that. So, when I left there, when I spoke to the brother, there was a sister I met, and she was telling me how she has an autistic. I told her, I said, man, this man really touched me. Like, I like his honor. I like his commitment. I like the fact that he was a man and he's still a man, and I felt it. She was telling me, she said, listen, I have an autistic nephew. Latin woman, right? Mexican. And she's telling me she got an autistic nephew. He's like 45. I said, wow. She said, it's my sister's son. And we go everywhere, change his diapers. Because the man was talking about changing the diapers and stuff for his son and being out and going places and raising him and knowing that he has these certain gifts that he is good with. You know how that goes. So this woman was telling me the same thing. I'm like, what? She said, yeah. She said, I take him anywhere proudly. That's my buddy. And I said, now this is a real woman here. Okay. That's a level of a lady. Fearless because of her commitment, right? Her contribution. Most people would be embarrassed to walk around. And not to say they're less of a person, but most people would not be able to deal with that, especially a grown man changing their diapers. You could look at her face and see whoever marries this woman, I don't think she was married. Whoever's going to marry this woman going to have a real woman. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a lot of men have to understand, that even for me, it made me appreciate a lot of brothers And I don't see brothers as blacks, but brothers in the sense of the mode that we had Hispanic, white, and black men, and they don't know the answer. A lot of men are not taught to express themselves, so they hold it in. And when they hold it in, it's like anything else, it creates hysteria. And there was a motive throughout my day. You know, I'm at the dump, I'm in my truck, I'm getting rid of all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like I felt, let's just say I felt really good. And it was a cry of joy. I felt so good because the little things that I have in my life are big things. Because some of the things we don't appreciate because we take it for granted. But looking around and saying, wow, I'm a rich man. And we're not speaking in terms of a millionaire. I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? So relax. I'm a rich man just as far as my individuality, my grace, my contribution, my love for others so much that I expect less. And that's what keeps my standards so high. I know as an individual, as a man of strength, I know this becomes a mode of men are not taught because this man was showing them as men what it takes to raise our children, to raise the children, to be patient with kids, whether they're yours or not. He was letting us know it's a village. It's all, we are here for a reason. It was incredible. What an epic moment. So it carried me through my day so amazingly that not only did I shed a tear, I shed a prayer. And I remember as I'm doing, I said, more men need to do this. It's almost like talking to God. You don't have to cry to me. You know, you can cry to him and say thank you. Cry to him and say, God, I'm struggling. Cry to him and God help me. He listens to that. And I know he does because my life lately has just been such a level of angels that have been blessing me with abilities that I had to have that moment. What a sensational week. What an awesome day. So throughout my crusade of this week and ending it with that great event, I had to make this Buster's move to Queens and one of my boys. I had to fix a computer, I had to fix my wife's phone, plus I had to go and get an iPad. He just takes care of all of our Apple stuff, right? So I remember he texted me last night, right in the middle of work, and he's like, oh, his boy wants his money because I guess he had to sub the work out to somebody else. So I had to say, bro, I'm in the middle of work and I ain't get into it. I just said, you're my man. Like you got to tell your man, you tell your man to relax. I will be in Queens tomorrow. Calm down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Niggas got to stop just being so thirsty with money, 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 money. Like, all we do is chase money. Y'all pay what y'all got to pay. And you're back at it again. Like, where is the lifestyle? Where's the happiness? Where is the true reward? But I had to tell my man or something like, yo, like, it doesn't make me a difference if the nigga got mad because my mentality was like, listen, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be just bullshitting and cutting in my day at work, my evening day at work, because it was nighttime. Cause you pressing me about bring you some money like I'm some broke nigga. I didn't like that. So, but he responded, he said, no, his apologies. It's just that his man thinks the work is for him. And I'm just kind of like, he wants it from me. Whatever, he was bullshit. Who knows? He probably fucking fixed it himself, you know. I know how he is. Excuse me. So no big deal. So what ended up happening, right? I didn't know where this was going to take me because I'm like, all right, my daughter wanted to leave the house. She had her little long day at school, whatever. My wife wanted to get out of the car. We just going to go to Queens together, whatever. We're just going to take this ride. So I get out there. As I pull up, my man is like, so my man's brother, right? They all brother, they all Puerto Ricans and shit. They work on cars and shit like that. But I was going in to get my shit because he's more of a tech guy, whatever. As we were pulling up, this nigga had his shirt off. He's working on a car. The shit's jacked up in the shit was some ghetto shit because the neighborhood he lives in is called Middle Village. So it's like a very heavily Asian foreign area with a lot of different foreigners. Beautiful block. So him having that shit up like he was living in fucking South Jamaica, Queens was some ghetto shit because Puerto Ricans just have that mentality. There's just certain nationalities that's just more ghetto than others. Dominicans are more ghetto than Puerto Ricans, but Puerto Ricans are some ghetto motherfuckers. So as we get closer, I know he bought this little piece of shit truck. He's going through his little midlife crisis, you know what I mean? Older cat, he cool. He bought this Dodge Charger, the Dodge Charger 6. So he's like, yeah, I had to get this Escalade to have, run to and from. It's an old Escalade. So there's all this oil on the ground. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, what happened was, the oil line went, and then I fucked around. I hit the transmission line, and it was just a disaster. And I know him, so he's one of them guys that would like throw a phone or take a brick and put it through the car window if the car's giving him a problem. So he said he almost did, but he was out here cursing and carrying on and talking loud. I'm like, damn, these neighbors can't stand him on their block. They're like this fucking guy. I think the only reason why they allow him because his girlfriend's more reserved. She's pretty and shit. She's younger, whatever. And anyway, so we're sitting out there. It was like a nice little breezy night tonight in New York, like a real nice fall end of summer night. So it was real nice, just really nice. And I got the car running, my wife and daughter sitting there, whatever. And he had like this seat out there. So he's, he got all his tools. He's telling me what he had to do. As I'm listening, I'm like, all right, well, you didn't really need this piece of shit, but whatever. I guess, they going through their crisis, probably paying with Facebook Marketplace, whatever. So I'm there and I'm getting a little hungry because I'm waiting for him because he has to go inside and get my damn shit. Like this wasn't a quick visit. So he's like, oh man, I can't go in it now. My wife's gonna be bitch if she sees all this oil on the street. Well, his girl's he ain't married. My girl's gonna bitch. Now mind you, this nigga's like in his damn late 50s and this woman has to be in her 30s. I mean, go figure. I don't know what that shit was all about. This woman's mad young. So he was like, she gonna be bitching with all this oil on the street, whatever. And then he's like, oh, she's gonna kill me if I walk in the house. So anyway, he takes like a pressure washer, he puts soap on the ground, try to clean it. That was cool for the community, like they need to see stuff like that. You make a mess, clean it up. I like that part. I admire that. So I'm trying to put up some good points about him because he's a dick in a cool way, but he's an asshole. So he showed me the garage, it's pressure. There's we got some of the tools in there. It's a small little spot, whatever. So he's like, listen, let me go upstairs and get y'all shit so you could be on your merry way, whatever. But it takes a minute, comes out, and they got this dog barking, man, like this fucking little puppy is like barking uncontrollably. And the thing I don't like about dog owners, the dogs never listen to them. That's the problem I got. I like when a dog owner could say, shut up, and the dog just shuts right up. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, this little dog is barking crazy. So he's like, yeah, um, because he goes, yeah, well, she's like that with black people. I'm like, come on, bro, this is what I mean about expecting less, right? Now, mind you, I didn't even trip on it. That's what I mean. Where I mean, my standards are too high to even fucking debate with this nigga. I didn't been in like 6 families' homes yesterday throughout the day, and at least only one of them probably didn't have any pets. All the rest of these niggas got big dogs, small dogs. And guess what? Some of them could control it. Some of them would have to put them away because they're too much. But none of them gave me the impression of a racist dog. Why is it when you go into a Puerto Rican fucking house that I got to go through all the, matter of fact, let's just keep it a stack. All of the white people's homes that I'm in, even if that's the case where the dog may not notice a black person, that's expected. I expect that. Like, hey, whatever. I mean, we're in white areas. I'm a big black man. A dog's gonna probably bark. How the fuck are we in a Puerto Rican household and you're telling me about the dog is a low key racist? Like, now my standards are high, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna respond to this fucking. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna even give him that. I won't even give him the pleasure. Wow, shout out to Disciple, man. What up, bro? I won't even give him the pleasure. Okay, peep game. So I come in the house, and the girl, she's usually talkative and nice, but today she was a little weird. I'm like, damn, this girl's a moody bitch, whatever. But whatever, you know what I mean? Like, you know, people are people, right? So she's trying to calm the dog down. We get upstairs, you know, because he has like an office up there with my shit. Plus, I got to buy something from whatever. So we go upstairs to the office. The dog comes upstairs. The dog is quiet as a mouse. He's like, oh, yeah, we know when I'm around, the dog's quiet. So I guess he shows off in front of his girlfriend. Some wild shit, right? So we're talking, man, and it's so crazy. You know, we're talking, we're bullshit, whatever, whatever. And he's telling me this, that, way, that. And then I noticed he had his toe cut off a few months ago, maybe a little less than a year ago. And he starts talking about, you know, his diabetes or whatever, whatever. And I'm like, you know, with all due respect, I know this is a dumb question, but you know, you're not even like a chubby guy. How did you get this? And he's like, you know, could be a little bit of, you know, the motive my grandfather had it or the fact that he abused certain foods, whatever. Again, I could see he doesn't take care of himself. This goes back to the man collage that I was talking about, where, you know, what does it out? What is your out as a man? You know, is it a cry? Is it some pussy? Like, what does a man have as an out that's going to be healthy for his male being? And this is a guy that I see that number one is his woman controls him, even though she's younger. Um, he even had to share. Oh, I had to take a quick shower. That's why I came back out because. So you fucking had me outside, and you took a quick shower because he came in the house with all this antifreeze and oil on him, and she was gonna bitch. Whatever it was just like, you know, niggas we be niggas, spics will be spics. I mean, no matter what we think about, you gotta know what you're dealing with. Again, expect less. That's what keeps me level. I don't take it to heart. So he shows me this thing on his leg, man. It fucked me up like this plastic thing. And he said it's there for 3 days, and when the body's losing the insulin, it pumps it back in. So I'm like, wow. Then he had this other one on his arm, like this another electronic device. And he says that like right now, he says we're dealing with this truck, and the truck was pissing me off, and I'm working on it. I'm dizzy now. He can't feel feeling in his feet. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck? He says it's type 2 diabetes. It was fucking crazy. So the crazy part what he shared was, you know, he had this issue with his eyes, and behind the eye, behind the retina, is this certain thing when he woke up one day and couldn't see. And he's telling his girl, "Oh my God, I can't see." She had to walk him down the stairs. And these brothers sit here talk all this shit, man, about woman got to bring something to the table. Just imagine if she wasn't in the house. Like, you need a woman to hold you down. You know what I'm saying, fellas? So I'm listening to all this. It was crazy. Kind of left a little like sadness to me because I'm like, damn, this dude is in crazy shape. So he said something about dinner. You know, he didn't eat, but you know, I think the missus cooked something. And I said, "What she cook?" He says pasta. And I'm like, you just told me all about this shit about food that fucks you up and being in these Puerto Rican, you know, rice is a big thing with us, whatever, whatever. But again, I guess, you know, that's people, you know, niggas ain't gonna learn. I'm not shocked. it's just quite, it's quite sad, but it is what it is. So when I got back to the car, right, so I get out of there, right, and he just kind of killed my whole motive. Like I said, if there was any shit I wanted to eat some bullshit tonight, I'm gonna take my ass straight and fucking home. Like, he killed my whole shit. Shout out to Chris. So after that, right, I get back to the car, whatever. Wife's, she's a little pissed. Obviously, it took us a minute. So she says, she's good. She just thirsty. And I said, what's so sad? You know, she said, let me ask you, did he offer you anything? I said, no, he didn't offer shit. She said, you was around. They didn't offer you nothing to drink, eat, or nothing. I said, nah. But I said, you know what, babe, gotta expect that. Well, we should have grabbed a cooler. We have our little cooler for the baby and me and her, and like little drinks and shit like that, with little small toy. These are certain things we have to grab because we have to keep ourselves together mentally, physically. Okay, low expectations builds our value. It builds our worth. I never thought I could see the day where I'm like, yo, people don't even offer you a bottle of fucking water. I could go in a cracker's house all day. They offer you something. You want something to drink? Big Trump flags in the house. I go to a Puerto Rican and think he white, and he ain't nothing but a Spanish nigga. And I know this nigga. And the only thing I could come out of that shit was his revelations and the shit that he's dealing with his diabetes. Because class is just something that most people just don't have. So as I'm driving back home, all these different things are hitting me. It was just amazing where it's like, the one full day, what did I learn within the last 17 hours of my day? And I said, the whole day I expected less. That's why I was able to appreciate who I was. That's why I was appreciate my mindset, to appreciate my honor, to appreciate my class. Because I have such low expectations of people, of mankind, that it makes my standards go through the roof. I'm up here. They're down there. But when they shock me and they're like, oh, wow, you know what? He's actually on a rise. He's actually coming up this elevator. I wouldn't have thought of that. Or the only brothers that told me good morning in his father's retreat was Hispanic man. They didn't even speak English. The niggas didn't say nothing. Meanwhile, I'm like, fuck them both. We in there with all these shitholes. I don't expect anything of these men, but then I also had to realize, I said, you know what? Now that a few have shocked me, it still made my motive standards to say, hey, you innocent till proven guilty with you're guilty, but you're guilty before you're proven innocent with me. That's how I keep my guards up. I expect less from individuals. I do. I don't take it to heart. So the backtrack, when we went to pick my daughter up from school, one of the brothers was out there. He's like a father, but one of his kids got some little, with a little struggles. He said the mother left him too, and he's raising his son, whatever. But we got this certificate. It's in my bag. I got this little reward. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me read it. So they give us this certificate with our name on there. This shit was this shit was amazing, man. Like, and the ticket goes as follows. What is it at? It was so dope how this shit happened. Hold on. And where's that damn photo at? Okay. So it was a little reward that we got. And it felt so good, man, to see this too, because it was just like, to see my name up there and everything. This shit was pretty dope. So when I opened it, it says, let me tell you. So it says Superhero Participation Award. We present this certificate to Nathaniel of recognition for your active participation in leadership. Dads take your child to school day. You are our hero every day of the year. Friday, September 19, 2025. It says the name of the school. I thought it was just amazing. So one of the brothers was telling me he didn't get one. And he was bitching about it earlier. So when we came back to school to pick our kids up, he said the woman gave it to him, but the one that made the mistake, he wished she would have gave it to. Do you know, when I first seen this nigga like 2-3 days ago, I said, this nigga's a clown. This corny ass nigga with, you know what I mean? But after talking to him, I said, you know what? This is what happens. You give room for improvement when you expect less from a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? People would say, oh, well, he proved you wrong. No, he didn't prove me wrong because I don't have expectations. When you have high expectations of people, they fuck you over more that way. Oh, can't believe he did that. I thought he was cool. I thought he was. I'd rather you say, I thought you was a piece of shit. He ended up being a cool dude. You see what I mean? That's something you got to earn. But when I look at you and expect high, my standards are really low. Because now you put your faith in the man. The only connection I had today, I talked to God. I talked to God. My faith is with him. My faith is not with man. That's why I have low expectations. You get it? I have low expectations of man, woman, humans, man. Their expectations are low. I expect that. I don't expect much. So some people may get that confused and say, well, you don't expect much in life. Oh, no, I have high standards because I expect less. See, when you expect more, amen, when you expect more, you bring down your standards because now you're vulnerable. A person could fuck you over now because you trust him. I don't. See, when my expectation is less, I trust less. All right, you're on the other side of the fence. Oh, no, they're cool, man. He's a cool brother. I like the guy. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you know him? I don't really know him. Okay, that's a problem. Because now when a nigga fuck you over, you're going to want to kill his ass. Now when a woman go cheat on you, you're going to blame her. Because you put your faith into her. You put your loyalty. You never put a loyalty in a man. You put loyalty in yourself. And if you were loyal to yourself because you had high standards, you expect less from a motherfucker. Oh, well, sucks to be her fucking loss, not mine. You see the difference? If you look at all these bitter fucking bastards around you, all these people that fuel hate, that's all grudges. Donald Trump literally cut Jimmy Kimmel's show because he had a comment on a nigga that got murdered. He didn't even give a fuck about. Because he can't deal with a nigga talking about him because of shit that Jimmy Kimmel said in the past. See, you got to think about what that does now. Now his followers put him on high regards because they have high expectations from this fucking loser, right? And turn to that, you can't tell me that you don't know a Trump supporter is a fucking piece of dirt. Okay, they all are. Rich, poor, all of them are dirt. You can't be official and fuck with that nigga. Okay, if you black, we're not going to talk about your baboon ass. Now we're just talking about dumb. I don't want to. I don't expect anything from you fucking losers. But what I'm saying is that if you see these people putting high regards into man to the point where they worship him, they fuel hate. Stay away from motherfuckers that fuel hate, man. They're meaningless. They're useless. They're worthless. They're angry. Holding shit in. Why don't you go cry? Go in the fucking corner and cry. I had this trucker on the highway today on the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. This nigga was riding me, and I said, "Nigga, in another 100 feet, there's traffic. You dumb fuck. Who doesn't know this expressway inside and out?" So my wife's like, "Damn, he's on the ass." I said, "Well, let him tap us. We're only doing 20 miles. Let him fucking tap me. Let this 18-wheeler tap me. What you think I'm gonna do? All right." You think I'm gonna go out there and beat the shit out the nigga? He ain't doing 100 miles an hour. I wouldn't be able to get out the dude. They'll kill me. But enough for a tap. Okay, his company would love to hear that. They got this angry fucking driver trying to drive this big ass shit through the goddamn traffic, and he's on my ass. But you don't want to antagonize a nigga. But she said, what is the deal with people? I said, you got to remember, babe, most people are fucking dirt. I keep telling you this. This guy's driving a truck with an attitude, okay, because he got to take some fuel, this fucking bum. He got to deliver the gas. He's a loser. These are people, no matter what you do, man, they work hard, bust their ass, and it's still miserable. This is why I don't expect a lot from a motherfucker. It takes a lot to impress me. With face value. But if you was a bum ass nigga, I don't like the way you look when I see you, and there may be a situation where I'm fucked up in a game and you help me out. I'm gonna be like, you know what, bro? You made me really value you, man, because I really appreciate what you did. You see what I'm saying? Because I expect less from the rip. Homegirls that got boyfriends, sisters, boyfriends, I expect less. So when they stay down there, it's like, oh well, it's not my point proving. I expect that anyway. Is there any room for improvement? Fine. Of course there is. There's always room for improvement. But there's only room for improvement when you expect less from a person. Write that down. There's only room for improvement when you expect less. Okay? Because when you have high regards of a person and high expectations, you're gonna put yourself in a mode of disappointment. Something as simple as, well, we're having a barbecue this weekend. What's the weather going to be? They said it's supposed to be nice, incredible, stellar weather. Now you prepare for the barbecue. You go get your shit. Everybody come through. Last minute you plan this. Now it's about to be a fucking rainstorm. You're going to have a fit because you had high expectations for good weather. Okay? If you had low expectations, you would have did the shit in the fucking house. You had a backup plan, a rain date. Well, they, fuck all that, but it's hard for me to trust a man, and I'm always putting my love in a man, and I treat a man like a this and that. I'm like, well, why you ain't have 2-3 different boyfriends, you dumb fool? You have high expectations on man that you're fucking. You really put your faith in the man like that? Well, I'm not that type of woman to have another. Why not? If you had low expectations, you would have another nigga. You have high expectations, you're going to set yourself up for failure. That's an appetite for destruction, darling. You're dating. You should always have a stash box. I don't give a fuck if you as your boyfriend. Have something in the stash. Just in case, because you got him on high regard. Goddamn, I invested my time. I let the nigga move in. Uh-oh. You having high expectations now. If you come home and this nigga's fucking another bitch in your house, don't. He better not do that. Oh, well, why not? You have high expectations. You let him move in. All right. Does he working? Well, he not working now. Don't you work? Yeah, I do. You telling me he ain't gonna bring no bitch to the house? Why wouldn't he? You let him move in. You gave him the fucking keys. Well, he wouldn't do that with our bed. Oh, yes, he will. Why wouldn't he? You're not gonna listen to me because you have high expectations. That's why your standards are so low. No matter which way you cut it, it connects. That's how you build your character as a person. Be cool. When I say, oh yeah, these men are cool, they could walk my daughter from school. Are you fucking kidding me? They're men. I have low expectations. I expect less. And that's not a bad thing because the little bit that I do expect, well, listen, man, any guy, listen, hello, good morning. Motherfucker may not say good morning back. I expect that. So when they say, how you, brother? If I say good morning, brother, and he says good morning back, okay, that's cool. The brother replied. He didn't have to. I didn't expect that. Well, then you have to expect something if you say, no, I do not. I didn't say I have no expectations. I have low expectations. So I expect less. Well, I put in the whole work for this woman and I did everything. No, I don't ever do that. And if I do, I expect less from her. You're doing it to be validated. I'm not. You want to put your investment and said you want a big return. No, life is an investment. But life is also a risk. You could bust your ass 100,000% and end up with a fucking leg falling off of your body. And then what? You expect less. You come on with all your limbs. Goddamn, thank you, God, for another day. Thank you for not taking my limbs. Thank you for letting me sit in front of my man and he giving me that layout of diabetes 2, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Thank God I was able to sit down. Okay? I was able to come home and say, you know what, I'm not going to no damn fucking Chinese restaurant tonight. Then I have to talk. There's always pluses in people. Even the ones when you expect less from them, they can still give you something. There's not an individual in this world you can't learn from. So the moment I was having was knowing my dad left me the business, knowing that the day went so well, knowing that being around these men and hearing this other man's revelation in his journey made me feel even stronger on doing what I do here. I don't do live streams to get tips and, you know, cash apps. I don't do that. I don't do, I never did a live stream expecting that. And I done made sometimes anywhere from $250 to $1,000 in a damn. You know what I mean? I didn't expect that. I expect every now and then people may throw a little $2, $3, $4 depending. You know what I mean? But I don't expect people are going to make $300, $400 a stream. I'm sorry, that's crazy. I don't expect that. I don't do what I do here for views. And when I mean for views, I'm trying to get a viral video. No, just as long one person is learning from this stream. If there's one person's life I could change, I'm cool. One. If there's one person that I could have give a 360, that's all it takes for me. And I know this for a fact. The brother today that was doing the speech, all it took was him to open me up. Pause. You understand? So for people, it applies the same way. When you expect less, it builds your character, it builds your standards. It makes you stronger, such a better quality of life. Oh man, election day is coming up. I'm not fucking with that at all. I have low expectations. I'm not the person to vote. I have low expectations of men. It's not a good thing if I vote. Because you know what? The reality is that I don't want to be like every other Tom, Dick, and Harry and have such high expectations. People that support Trump have high expectations. They believe he's going to make their life better again. And it was never better before. Never. So they support him. You get food. Well, the rich do this. I don't give a fuck if you rich or poor. Rich people are shit too. Child molesters. Half of the motherfuckers want to kill themselves. I don't give a fuck about a rich folk. A rich folk can suck my dick. I could care less about rich people. You do. I've had customers that barely got a pot to piss in the window to throw it out. They still pay me and still offer me water at the end of the goddamn job. And a rich motherfucker don't want you in the goddamn house. Meanwhile, the house is gonna be, when they die, the house is gonna go up for auction and go to the next fucking damn shithole. When you put people on a pedestal, they consume your energy like that. Because now you're trying to figure out, what is it that I did? How could they do that to me? Now all of a sudden you're the fucking victim. But in my world, they're the victim. Because they fucked themselves. They went to the hospital and says, what happened? Well, I just gave myself a self-inflicted fucking gunshot wound. How did that happen? I touched a gun by mistake and I shot my fucking toe off. You see the difference? This man was so powerful today for me. By the time I came home and my wife was talking about family members, right? That shit had to make me feel, I said, you know what? These dudes really fucked their lives up. Rather than, damn, they did you dirty. Oh, this one did me dirty. Fuck that. I'm not taking that blame. That's you. You fucked yourself. It got nothing to do with me. But when you put people in high regards, man, I was loyal to me. I never did you dirty. I never stole. I put you on a pedestal. That's how people gonna fuck you over. Because you expect high things. You had high expectations, and they disappointed you. How do you have a better quality of life and you sitting in a goddamn $2-3 million house and you still mad? Because you keep thinking that money was going to fucking change you for the better. I see this Lamborghini truck today. I fell in love with it. I want one badly. But then I had to catch myself. Why was I liking the truck? And I liked the stance. It was gorgeous, beautiful. Damn. So I'm watching this truck. We're in traffic, Lamborghini truck. And I'm looking. I'm like, damn, this shit is sexy. Shit, bam, we need that. One day I'm going to get that motherfucker. And then I caught myself. I said, what the fuck am I doing? Fuck that damn truck. It ain't gonna make my fucking life any better. It ain't gonna make me no happier. And now I gotta watch my back now, cause now you put this shit in the driveway, the boy's gonna come and try to kill you for that fucking car. I can't have that bitch running or doing nothing, cause they gonna fall. Now I get a home invasion. Nigga wants to steal the key. You know that nigga gonna fucking try to rob you for that car, cause even though it could be a 2020, I paid $150 for it. The brand new one's $300. They don't see 150,000. So I said, let me do something more of an inexpensive way. Let me go check the fucking truck out online and see what it's going for. 140, 170, 160. This shit depreciated like a son of a bitch. But the crazy part was there was so many available for sale. Number one, nobody could afford that shit. Most of the people that drive them shits is broke. On top of the fact, obviously it didn't make nobody happy. That's why there's so many available. So even then, when I slip, I catch myself. You have high expectations of this car. Now you get it, and it ain't nothing but a car. I learned this ability, one of the most amazing things of the B mindset. This is the topic, this is the title here. Okay? Keep your standards high by keeping your expectations low. Trust me on this. You'll see people differently. You can sit back and watch them now. You give yourself room. You don't want to be like your friend that's that cocksucker that's on everybody's dick. He don't got room to see nothing because he got faith in man, so he can't see shit. Anybody that support Trump, they can't see he's a piece of shit because they have high expectations on. That's their God. They riding around with their pickup truck with the motherfucking American flag. Those are sick fucks. But a nigga like me is like, man, fuck that damn nigga Trump. He's nothing but a man's a piece of fucking dirt. Fuck him. I don't think he's gonna do a motherfucking thing for this world. And guess what? It's a win-win thing because if he don't, I prove my point. If he does, that's great. Cause I didn't expect that. You know, there was a time I used to do streams. And I used to see, pages getting, the channel being, blacklisted or shadow banned. And I said, you know what? That's what they're gonna do. Fuck them. So what? You know what I mean? You got to think on a level. If you're gonna shadow ban my page, then go ahead. So what? I ain't tripping. Just as long as I could change one person's life, just one. Because the one person, well, that little bit is enough for me. One. Oh well, Nate. I'm trying to help my homegirls, trying to save the ladies. No, no, no. That doesn't work like that. Now that's too many mouths to feed. That's a lot more work. What happens if they fucking bow out? What happens if they leave what happens if they take a break from the mindset for 3 goddamn fucking months? My expectations were high, so now I'm gonna be pissed. Fuck them. Fuck this. Fuck. You wasn't doing. Fuck. Chop this one off. Cut that one off. No, no, no. I got one. I'm straight. Hey Nate, how you doing? Been a long time. Hey, it's good. How you doing? You all right? Everything is cool. Yeah. Well, all right. They'll see. Every now and then we have to kick a motherfucker out there because they had certain things that they had been committed to do. All right. And upon me expecting less, they had things they were committed to do and didn't do that. So then we said, fuck them, kick them out. It wasn't worth shit from the fucking jump. You dig? Oh man, it's gonna be an awesome summer. We're going on vacation. Man, I can't wait. Yeah, okay. You'll see. Wait till you go to that vacation after a week or two and come back home. You have high expectations. You still going on trips to change your life. That's played out. Nobody does that anymore. Trips are played out because there's too many high expectations. What happens if there's a tornado down that bitch? Did you ever think about that? Do you have any insurance on that trip? No, we didn't think so because it's usually warm around this season. What happens if it's not? You have to have travel insurance. That's why they make you put insurance on your car because it's mandatory because they know the average person could be a dancer. You could have an episode, nigga, and kill somebody. You have to have mandatory insurance just in case of an accident. That's expecting less. That's an insult to me. I'm a great driver. No, it's not. A person with high standards has less expectations. Doesn't mean you have less dreams. Doesn't mean you're less motivated. We didn't say you could be a bum and have high standards. But as a woman, when you put that faith into a man, and man, when you put that faith into a woman, just remember you're putting high expectations, high hopes. Be careful with that. Well, Nate, I had high hopes and everything worked out once again. You took a chance. Less expectations. Got to think like that. All year round. We need to do this constantly. Are the men in the United States in bad shape? I believe the black man are. I believe the white man is. I don't think that Hispanic man got enough a fucking thing to worry about. Because as we acting like fools, they ignore everything. That's why they just keep winning. I tell any Hispanic folk, they act like you don't speak English. Then you're not a threat to them. You may be a threat to that fucking racist Staten Island, the white man, and we're giving them, we're feeding them, and our taxes are paid. I mean, listen, it's a white. I tell any Spanish man, have low expectations of a white man. That's it. Because just in case he can redeem himself, then that's great for you. You'll be able to sift through the bullshit more. All of them are like, have low expectations. They can't change your fucking life for the better. Don't take that out of there. These niggas then chose black man to get on the fucking slave 400 years ago. You grabbed a whole bunch of lazy motherfuckers that physically could handle the work. You've been better off just catching a whole bunch of midget ass Mexicans. They work harder than black people. They just do. Hispanics work harder. It's in their DNA. They just do. We're bred for it, yeah, and the sun and the muscles and all, but that fucking coon gonna get lazy. He's gonna break down. That's just what's gonna happen. It's important, ladies and gentlemen. Embrace, man. You better put a cry in there. You better let it out. Because all you're gonna do is keep getting disappointed. You better let it out. You're gonna fuck around and get a disease. Let it out. As my man was talking to me today, and I'm listening to him talk about his type 2 diabetes. That shit fucked me up. But once he said, oh, his wife, what you eating? I thought he was joking. Oh, pasta. I said, now, once again, I could have said, damn, nigga, what the fuck? You just said this, said that. Now you talk about this. Like, well, figures. That's how probably he caught type 2 diabetes. He didn't fucking listen. What do you expect? What do you expect? Ask yourself that question. What do you expect from your boss? Well, I just want respect given. No, that's high hopes. That's high expectations. If I give respect to a person, they should give it back. In a perfect world, that would be great. But that's not reality. That's your illusion. There's nothing in this world to say, yes, that would be great. If you respect somebody, they respect me. There's a lot of people I may show a level of respect, just common respect. I mean, they may not give the same thing back. It could be a quiet way. Nigga could do it behind your back. You can't do nothing about that. Hey, brother, how you doing? Much love. How many of y'all got people, family members, and then the minute y'all everything is cool, you'll see I love you. As soon as they leave the fucking house, y'all talk about them. Did you see his sock? Did you see this one's that? Did you see they son? Y'all all do it. But if the person that left the house has low expectations, and he finds out later, somebody says, man, he was talking about you when you left here. He said, who? As soon as you walked out the door, this one said, I said, listen, do me a favor, brother. Don't tell me none of that bullshit. I don't give a fuck what they think. But if he has high expectations and they tell him, man, as soon as you left, he's going to be like, fucking, I'm cutting them off. I'll never deal with them again. That could have been a lie. I'm done with them. Dirty motherfuckers. I sat there. I ate. They did me. Fuck them all. I'll never come back there again. High hopes. You can't do that. Expect less from people. Expect less from life. Then you look at your life 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and says, you know what? I didn't expect a lot in life, but boy, I'm a lucky man. I got my health, I got my crib, I got my kid. You understand what I'm saying? It's a beautiful feeling. Thank God. Man, I put doctors on a high hope. You can't do that with doctors. You know what I mean? Doctors are living in a science world. They'll tell you take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Matter of fact, come back so I can rape your fucking HMO and hit them with another bill. They don't make house calls anymore. These niggas want to come to you, and a lot of times they misdiagnose and make you worse. I expect less. I don't put a doctor on a pedestal. I lost a significant family member over that shit because I thought the doctor would change him and make him better, and he didn't. And I learned my life. I'll never do that again. I had high hopes. And at the end of the day, it was in God's hands. You follow me? It's not in his hands. You ask God for grace. You ask God for peace. You ask God for loyalty. You ask God, God, tell me what you want me to do. When you cry, praise him. Cry to God. Close the door, go in your car, put your shades on, and let out a good old cry. And wait till you finish. You gonna be like, man, Nate was right, boy. You gonna be laughing at you. Damn, Nate, you was right. That shit felt good than a motherfucker. I look at things differently now, Nate. So much that you talk, so much to rap, Nate, you have to keep this coming, Nate. This is for men and women. Keep your standards high by keeping your expectations low. Expect less from that family member. Expect less from that sister. Stop expecting so much from these mothers. Well, it's unacceptable. They did me dirty. I cut off all my because you expected more. How much are you going to expect from a fucking turd? Some of y'all got fucked up families, amen? And y'all still be expected, well, we need to get together and be at peace. No, no, no. No. No, that's why you're gonna keep it. That's like beating the motherfucking goddamn. Excuse me. That's like beating them. That's like trying to squeeze water out of fucking concrete rock. Or a rock is. You understand what I'm saying? Expect less. The black family's fucked up. I expect less from them. I do. So when they do something to bring me out of that, I'm like, yo, you know what, man? Goddamn, I'm gonna show you an appreciation you couldn't imagine. I don't care if it's a motherfucking goddamn representative. I'm like, this bitch they gonna have a fucking attitude and piss me off. Let me call up fucking Discover and find out why this charge is on here. And then I call them up, and this person was great. We're talking. We're from the same neighborhood. God damn it. Cool as hell. Man, I never thought it would be like that. What a cool fucking damn dude. What a great experience. You expect less. Oh, this summer was whack. It wasn't great. It went by. Yeah, well, you had high expectations. Me, I'm like, well, the fall's here. All right. The fall's probably going to be better. And even if it's not, it ain't no big fucking deal to me. We all got winter. We got spring, summer. You know what I mean? That's the attitude. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be going. I'm going to tell you, man, you better cry. Let it out. Something's bothering you. I don't care if it was your fucking shitty father that left you because he wasn't there. Who can judge you? Nobody can judge you if you cry to God. You cry to him. Put your faith in him. Don't put your faith in a man. Fuck that boss. Fuck your homeboy. Man, my homeboy, he changed. That's why I don't be fucking with niggas. Why? Because why say all that right now? You don't fuck with them now? How long you been friends with him? 25 years. You didn't know he was a piece of shit 25 years ago? No, not like this. No, you knew. You just ignored it. You probably had high expectations. And now you're doing better in life and you realize that they still stuck. No, you're stuck. You're stuck with the fact that you never accepted them. If you had accepted them, you would have less expectations. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen. When you accept them, you have less expectation. That's true acceptance. True acceptance is, we'll see. High acceptance. Oh man, yeah, man, this is the one. This dude is gonna be this. This dude is gonna make me my company shoot through the roof. No, you're not being optimistic. Anything can happen. That person could die. The city of New York, they hire bus drivers like it ain't nothing because they fire half of them. They have low expectations on human beings. It only take one fuck up, kick him out. He ran one stop sign, fuck him. Yeah, he's in his probation period, fire him. It ain't no big deal. We'll get a good one. It may take whatever. It's going to take a long time, but we will. You expecting less. Oh, this is what we did. We put this into this company. We pumped this up. No, businesses fall like that. They have high expectations. That's why you get investors. When you have low expectations, you don't use your fucking money, asshole. You use somebody else's. I'm not too sure of this. I'm going to have to bring a couple of coons in here. Fuck that. I'm not giving them my fucking 400,000. What if this shit falls through? I don't trust a motherfucker. You know what? Let me bring investors, because investors are trained to know that it's an investment. Okay? That means it could go left and it could go right. But I ain't doing that shit with my own funds. Fuck that. I don't trust none of these motherfuckers. Well, Nate, what about trusting people? Well, it depends. If you have low expectations with people, you don't trust a fucking soul. When you have high expectations, you trust fucking everybody. Fool. Oh, he helped me. I sucked his dick. He fucked me in my ass. Oh, you woman, I see you swallowed. High expectations, darling. He gonna want to do that with somebody else. Oh no, I give him everything he needs. You have high expectations, darling. That's why you have a low character. Yeah, I said it, a low character. You're not a high character. You have low standards. All a nigga gotta do is tell you some bullshit, and you believe him. Now when he fucks you over, you want to come to me. Too late for that, darling. I got low expectations. You better go to a therapist. Don't come here and talk to my fucking ass. Well, Nate, why are you hard on men? I'm harder than anybody that I got low expectations. But what about a nigga in the street 2, 3 o'clock? I'm on in low expectations. I expect less. You know what I mean? Or with a black woman when she moving with a man, her man move. That's low expectations. That's why they moving in together. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica said it's too late. Shout out to Veronica. Yo, hold on. Veronica look mad familiar. Damn, you look like my homegirl Tosh, like a motherfucker. But yeah, that's what it is. It's real. I tell you. A lot of y'all be swallowing nut because you do it for the man. You don't do it because you like it. You do it to please him. You're a people pleaser. People please have high expectations, but very low standards because you're a fucking people pleaser. Well, what about the gay man? The gay man gets off on that. He's gay. He has a dick. The other one has a dick. You can't relate to that. Don't even try to do it. That's why they call homos. You suck a nigga's dick. You ain't nothing but a bitch. They gonna call you a dick swallower, cum licker. When he fucks another man, he's called a fucking homo or a faggot. You see the different names? Y'all doing the same shit, different category. Okay? It's a lot different here. I'm loyal to my man. Why? Oh, I'm not that type of woman. Oh, so you's a damn fool. Because only a fool gonna talk like that. Because if you had low expectations, you be telling me right now, yo, nigga, I don't trust none of these niggas. I ain't sucking nobody's dick. Okay? You may suck one, fuck it, I'll take a risk with him, but I wouldn't put it past him either. Build your quality of life. Bring down the bar. Oh, you can't accept less. Who told you that? You have to accept less. Oh, I refuse to rephrase. I refuse to accept anything. Like, okay, so all the nigga got to do is lie to your dumb ass. Because you are accepting less. You just don't realize it. Matter of fact, you're going to accept even more less. Wait till you get fucked over. You haven't seen anything yet. Well, my man would never fuck my sister. Yeah, because you have high expectations. You have high hopes. Well, they live in a house. Me, my sister, and my man live together, and I go to work and they clean up the house all day. Yeah, well, you should never let them move in there, you dummy. You have low standards. Now you expect everybody to fucking be respectful. And then you want to crowd everybody at work. I took them in, I fed them, I did this, I took the kids to school because you're a dumb bitch. That's all. You got to call it like it is. Go to God and say, goddamn God, how could I be so stupid? Watch how that cry, how good that cry feels. Go to him, talk to him. Whether you're in your car, whether you here, wherever you're everywhere. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Good luck with that. I'm going to the gym, man. I'm gonna work out 7 days a week. Huh? Okay. Good luck with that. Go to the gym, expect, listen, as long as I'm going, I'm getting it in once or twice a week, shit, as long as I'm taking a walk for 20 minutes. That's all. Expect less. What happens when you don't get the results? Now you're going to start fucking with steroids. Need a better quality of life, less stress. People are depressed because they had high expectations. They didn't accomplish shit. Their lives are fucking dirt. God damn, I thought I was going to be doing this and doing that. You know what? God damn, I'm alive. Shit, you know what? I'm breathing. I'm in shit could be a lot worse. That's it. Expect less out of life. Expect less. Expect less. You have to shoot for the star. You got to be a go-getter. Yeah. Go-getting on what? Surviving? You can see a go-getter picking up fucking cans every day. That's a go-getter. You may call it a bum. That's a go. That is a bona fide. If you could get yourself a whole bunch of goddamn cans and bottles and go in a garbage pan and put them shits in your van, your bag, that's a go-getter. You niggas getting up for work every goddamn day. That ain't nothing but a fucking slave. Slaves get up the same time every day. It's 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. They fucking whip their asses to make them work. And they do it again and again and again. You ain't no different than a fucking slave. You're a slave to your job. When they fuck you up, what's the first thing y'all do? Oh, that's fucked up. I did this. I bust my ass. I stayed there later days. I did things on my job I shouldn't even have did. Yeah, well, you had high expectations, high hopes. And then they gave you your fucking balls in your hand. Dummy. Let us pray. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you all. Change your life. Just change it. Change your mindset. It'll humble you. Give your mind, body, and soul enough time to appreciate somebody. Give them a road to success. Don't just give them the success. Let them work it. Let them work for it. You can't have a job for a person and pay him. Well, you know what? We finished early. Here's a full day's pay for hours work. No. You can't do it like that. Let him work the fucking 8 hours. Let him work. But I have nothing to do. Well, let him sit there. He ain't doing nothing. Let him sit there, because if he's a real honorable motherfucker, he ain't gonna just sit there. He gonna get up and do something and work. But Nate, we living in this society now where people feel entitled. Entitlement is high standards. Bums have entitlement. When a person feels entitled to anything, they have high expectations. It's low standards. Look at the politicians. A lot of y'all voted for niggas that changed your life. You didn't vote for them to change the life. You drove for them to change your life. And now, Obama didn't do nothing for me. Right. Oh, Trump didn't do nothing. He sent me back. He sent my mother back to our country. What would you expect? What did you expect? I expected him for her to stay here because she voted for him. See, see what I mean? I know niggas now, we in the 9th month of the year, and ever since Trump got in, they still waiting. And fucking another few weeks is election day again. He'll be in for a year. Their lives are still shit. High expectations deletes the character. High expectations, write that down. High expectations deletes character. You have high hopes. Facts don't expect or nor assume that will only bring. It brings disappointment. Thank you for. It brings disappointment. My best friend. I was there. I ain't gonna say I wasn't. I learned. That's how I'm telling you from experience, right? So I had a best friend. I was devastated. Not only could I, listen, it was so bad. His fuck ups was my fuck up. Cause I took it personal. He's so fucked up in the game as we speak right now. I said, what is it that I didn't do? Then I had to realize and say, number one, he's a man. He's a nigger. Why wasn't he a nigger? It's because he was my friend. No. You have to expect less from man. It's a human being. They're made to disappoint you. When you have high hopes and put them on high regard, and when they do some bullshit, you ain't going to take it too well because you didn't expect that. Some of y'all, maybe I didn't expect that of you. Then you say, I'm disappointed. Some of y'all feel betrayed. You can't feel betrayed. You have high expectations. There was a wise man today, I forgot that part. A wise white man told me that if you want to marry a woman, if you want a woman to stop being passionate, marry her. That's some heavy shit, right? He's saying a woman could only be passionate when she's dating a nigga, but when they married, you know what I mean? He been married for 50 years. You understand? Some niggas get married with these expectations and say, well, shit, I thought everybody told me I should do it. Now they get over there, they fucking miserable. So back to my best friend, for a long time, up until recently, and I'm going to give a shout out to my mother on this. She said, when you see him, act like nothing ever happened. That was the illest shit she ever said to me. I swear to God, as a grown man. She said, when you see him next time, act like nothing ever happened. And ladies and gentlemen, 3 months later, that shit worked. It worked. I remember the day I had my Dodge Charger spinning out in the street. He videoed it, so I had to be around June. I literally had to take a step back. The way this nigga, now I see the shit different. I said, man, God damn it. The way he fucked up his life inspired me to do better. That's how bad it was. The amount of failure that this man did with this woman that he's with. Thank God my father raised me to never be with a bitch like that. It was never an option. Be the boss. You can't be the fucking boss. Don't deal with her. This nigga went and got a boss bitch. A boss bitch. Now she fucked them all up. Nigga look crazy. Now he endured a mental illness being. He had to be mentally ill. He's with her. So now the friendship took a turn for the better. Because my wife would be like, oh, so-and-so was around. He was, because my best friend's my brother-in-law. Literally. He was around. I said, okay, you know what I mean? I don't expect a lot. One day he dropped over these Danishes and shit. I said, wow, that was very nice. I don't expect him to do that. I know he's fucked up in the game, so I don't expect less. I said expect a lot. Some of you women dating niggas that got girlfriends and shit and wives. Well, nigga, what's the good thing about that? You expect less. Because when you with a nigga that's not married, you gonna want him to give you the fucking world. How could he not? He ain't with nobody. But when a motherfucker seeing somebody, you're gonna expect less. I'm telling you, you compare it to anything, I'll show you how to break it down. So we're going to stay on top of this topic. This is a different stream. I need to stay on this. We have to stay on this shit like Zoom meetings. We have to stay on this like the daily work. We have to stay on this like going to that shitty gym every day. Some of y'all go to the gym and y'all so addicted. Y'all don't even realize the body's already used to it. You ain't even doing shit. You just maintaining it. It ain't getting no better. You ain't seeing no results because you haven't expected less. You only gonna see results when you expect less. And man, you expect more, you're never gonna be happy. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a splendid day. Class is dismissed. I love you all. Peace.